Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. Yesterday we broke down from the head and shoulders pattern, but after we found support at 57.8, this level that here was support and previously was resistance, we bounced back from where we came from. I want to talk about whether I still think that there can be more downside on this trade. It's going to be a very quick video. I'm feeling a little bit ill, so I'll look into the liquidity, the 1 hour, the 4 hour and the daily time frames, and I hope you guys appreciate the update. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I put out one of these videos. And if you feel like supporting the channel, watch this video until the very end and do not go anywhere without leaving a comment below. Those two things are sending a strong message to the YouTube algorithm that this content is worth watching by more people. So thanks so much for that. Here we are in the 4-hour time frame, and as you can see, after the breakdown 3% barely, then it reversed back to where it came from. And if you remember in my video yesterday, I mentioned that we needed to wait for the candle close. One option is to enter on the candle close, and the second option is to enter on the retest. So the thing I'm currently trying to evaluate as accurate as possible is whether this move to the upside in here still constitutes a retest, or if we should be concerned about this and thinking that this might continue going higher and completely dismiss the effect of the head and shoulders that we've been talking for days. So of course nothing is guaranteed, but I'm gonna look into the liquidity and see what is the most likely outcome and try to do my best as usual. In yesterday's videos, I mentioned that there was a fair value gap just at 60k and that there was a chance that right after breaking down, the price could come back and grab the liquidity from the fair value gap before heading back to lower targets. We seem to have found support on the same level, and my concern is completing this W formation, not being able to break the structure in here, and potentially this being the time that we challenge the CPR monthly level of August and continuing to the upside. After all, the plan B consists in, after having touched this level, to challenge the bull market support band, break above and go to the top of the range to take the massive amount of liquidity that there is. When we focus on the RSI 4 hour, you can see that we broke down and we managed to break back above the trend line. From the point of view of the momentum, the RSI is doing something that it shouldn't. A healthy retest should come for the trend line and then shoot back down. And instead of that, we are doing the opposite. We are breaking above it. Potentially, we are retesting this trend line again as support, in which case we should be looking for continuation to the top of the range of the RSI 4 hour. My point is, it's not being so clear that we are going to really move that low right now. If we look at the short-term liquidity at the moment, after this bounce from 57.6, we left this liquidity in here. But this is a lot smaller than what we've been having for quite a few days at 62.8. And yesterday we saw so many deposits into exchanges. In fact, 16,000 Bitcoin went back to exchanges. In my opinion, those 16,000 Bitcoin haven't been sold yet. That caused the Big Whale Explorer to spike very humbly here. This was yesterday. At some point it was higher, but I guess some withdrawals were compensating. The biggest thing that is still supporting the downside for Bitcoin is this breakdown that we are having here in the 1 day. After this move, we were speculating that the last move until RSI 50 was a dead cat bounce. Since then, we haven't been able to put a high on the RSI daily, and we seem to be building a squeeze in here. And we need to be monitoring this again. Even though it broke below the dotted trend line, this can still break out to the top of the range or break down and put a new low. And I hate to say it, but I don't take trades when things become so contradictory. And in summary, we have a breakdown on the daily that is consolidated. It's a settled candle and is pointing towards momentum to the downside. But this particular pattern is a bull flag. It could potentially break to the upside still. And on the 4 hour, we also have a mixed bag. We have a breakdown on the RSI 4 hour with a subsequential recovery of the level and now we are testing it again as support. And when it comes to the price, this has found support at 57.8, and it could be potentially rejected by the fair value gap continuing down, or it could form a W formation in here and challenge once again that CPR level. One of the things that is kind of spoiling the party for the short is the fact that the traditional markets have been having very 2 good weeks consecutive from the time of the crash. Since the bottom of the crash, we have seen already almost 12% up in the Nasdaq. The S&P right now is going back the trend line as resistance, but still this is a move very impressive of 8% on the S&P. The volatility index, after we have the breakout, one of the things that is not looking as bearish right now, and it must be confusing lots of investors, is the fact that the VIX is coming back below the range. Typically, when you have big volatility at levels as high as 65, like 2 weeks ago, it tends to leave a big body in here and then it starts flashing down across multiple weeks and then building a new triangle pattern like we are seeing here on the left-hand side. You can see, for example, on COVID, that is the case. You can see it also in here. My point is, it's rare that you break out so high to a level of 65 just to come back inside the range. In this case, we broke out to 20, and right after that, we went to 87, 86. But after that, we remain in this area. We didn't go back below the yellow line. This breakout is 31, and we go back inside the range. But if we get very high, we stay around the very highs. Same happens in here, not back into the range. And I guess that's why some people are starting to speculate that the worst is over. We should be claiming victory. The interest rates are gonna get cut, and we should go all in on risk-on assets. I'm very interested to see how we close on the S&P and the Nasdaq, whether we see a rejection from the trend line and potential continuation to the downside, or if we manage to hold above, continue going to higher levels, possibly even getting a new all-time high. Crypto in general hasn't had quite the recovery that you are seeing on the indexes. The Nasdaq and S&P are finding new highs on the weekly, whereas Bitcoin is here almost breaking down, threatening to find new lows. But I think if the stock market continues going higher, there is a potential for continuation to the upside on Bitcoin without necessarily hitting again one new low of the megaphone pattern at around 47, 46, like we were considering in the past 2 days. Guys, I'm hosting a position airdrop on Bybit. You trade with $100 and they give you additional $500 for free to trade on the coins listed in here. I left you a link in the description. You need to click on it to activate it and follow the instructions. I also left you a referral link. If you sign up for Bybit using that link, you can claim up to 30,000 in rewards. Once you have your shiny new account on Bybit, come to my Discord server and claim 70% of any Trading Parrot subscription. If you already have a Bybit account, don't worry, because you can transfer your referral to mine with the instructions I left you on Discord, and you can also use a Palau residence card with Bybit to trade pretty much from anywhere in the world. And guys, I left for the VIP members a strategy that runs on Rune. I left you the backtest on the Discord server. Anyone can have a look. Here are the requirements in case you want to run it. I've been running this setup for almost a year, and I also left a link to the actual 3Commas bot in case you want to confirm the results. I've been using $20 of margin, nominal, but I actually leave in the account usually $1,000 for this bot to share with other bots. In practice, it has never used more than $50 of margin, and so far it has made $481. Here are the results. It's using Parabolic SARC and MFI for the entries and exits. It uses a script called Absolutno, and although I run it on Rune, you can also try it with other successful coins of your preference, like for example Caspa, Solana, ideally coins that you actually believe in them. That's just an example. If you go to strategies in my Discord server, you're gonna find tons of different strategies using any combination of my Pine scripts included in the subscription. I'll see you there. Take care.